Welcome to the Your Peak Life podcast. Let's conquer the summit of life and reach the apex of our potential.
Welcome to another episode of Your Peak Life podcast. Today we have a special guest, Patrick Phillips. It's someone who I've witnessed just an enormous amount of growth. So we want him to, introduce yourself, Patrick. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll deep dive in some questions.
So hello, everybody. My name is Patrick Phillips. I'm originally born and raised Chicago, Illinois. Came to Virginia because of my prior military service, which I served for 6 years in the Navy, proudly. And afterwards, I kind of found myself just kind of like bouncing back and forth through different various sales jobs. And ultimately, I ended up at Iron Valley. But prior to that, funny story is I was at Keller Williams, and that was just a nightmare. I mean, they're great. They're great. Don't get me wrong. They're great, but it was a nightmare just because I had no sales. And obviously, that sucks as a realtor, right? For a whole year. I came here, and everything just kind of turned and did a 360 or 180.
Awesome. So what years were that? What year were you at Keller Williams?
So I was at Keller Williams in the end of 2021 through, I want to say, the third quarter of 2022. And then I came to Iron Valley right after that.
What other sales jobs did you have or before, like real estate?
Yeah, so I was probably like in, retail. I was in life insurance sales, which that's a whole nother beast within itself. I did not like that one, but that's a couple, just to name a few.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what initially, I got a question, which I never asked you this. What led you to Iron Valley?
Who do you know?
Okay, so the funny story is the military, right? I knew Amy Gardner. I think that's her last name. I'm hoping that's her last name. Amy, if that's not your last name, don't kill me. But Amy on Eric's team, Amy on Eric's team, Eric Edwards. But I knew her back from the Navy days, and she was talking to me one day on the phone. She was just like, "Yeah, you should come on over to Iron Valley." And I'm like, Iron Valley? I'm like, man, what's that name though? Like, where's that like drive from, right? I'm thinking like we're here in Virginia. Where's that coming from, right?
Yeah, where's the valley?
So anyways, that kind of threw me off. But then she's like, no, just come in and talk to Eric, and he'll kind of provide more clarity for you, whatever, right? So the first time I came, I sat down with Eric, and we kind of spoke. And then immediately afterwards, I spoke with Mike. And then from there, I spoke with Andy. And then from there, I was pretty much sold.
Got you. So Amy, it's funny. Amy was in a group of real estate professionals outside of Iron Valley, and my daughter Taina also was in this group, and they were at dinner, and Amy's like, yeah, Iron Valley, and Taina's like, yeah, my dad's that one, and she goes, yeah, I know you. She's like, oh, I didn't know you were at Iron Valley. So it's pretty. I like Amy. Amy's super cool. But so you said, so the reason why I asked you what led you here was, when I think of Patrick Phillips, I kind of tie you with Andy Nelson for some reason, possibly because you were in the Chesapeake office, right?
Yes.
Mostly, and Andy ran that office for a long time.
Yes.
So I just assumed that Andy kind of made that connection.
Yeah. So to piggyback off what you just said, so Andy definitely was a pivotal point in my growth curve, so to speak. Peak performance too as well. But Andy was more of a mentor there on a consistent basis when I was in the office.
Yep.
So I was always able to kind of pick his brain for different things and kind of get, it's one thing to understand something in theory, right? In the classroom setting, you get it, people teach it to you. Okay, that's cool. But it's another thing to put into practicality in the actual field itself. When you draw the correlations in your mind and you say, you connect this dot to that dot, you got the aha moment. So for me, talking to Andy did that for a lot of different avenues for me personally that I can't even tell you where I would be at without that taking place, in that office.
Yeah, practical use is what I use all the time, right?
Yep.
Like you can learn, you can know the contract, but how does that apply to the scenario you're facing, right?
Right.
How do, different addendums or, different parts of the contract, how does that apply to the scenario in? And that's really what takes your career to the next level.
Right.
Is tying the two, practical use and the knowledge of the contracts.
Right, exactly. And one last piggyback off that. And then I would say a culmination, just for a summarized version, a culmination of the peak performance, Andy, having other agents that I kind of directly talk to that kind of help me out on a consistent basis, and sitting down with all the leadership here, including yourself and Edgar. I think that too provided little nuggets along the way too to kind of help formulate a game plan for me to kind of go out there and execute.
Now we know where you're at right now, right? Numbers wise, you're killing it. But coming from a sales background already, insurance and retail and things like that, when you're like, okay, now I'm going to get into real estate, that mindset back then, like, what were you thinking or envisioning that was going to look like coming into real estate? Like, you're going to kill it? Or you're, like, what was that? Like, what was
so, when I first came in, when I was at Keller, I told myself, I was like, I'm going to do between like 40 and 50 deals. That's what I said. That was year one, obviously, right? Because I had just got my license. And, I always come in things knowing that I'm going to kill it because I'm competitive. I'm very competitive. People might not know that about me. You might see me a certain type of way or whatever the case is.
You're wearing
you might
fucking spandex to this interview, ready to work out. Like, we're ready to go sprint.
Right. You might think a certain type of way, right? When you see me, it's like, oh, this guy probably doesn't really take real estate that serious, right? But you would never know how insanely immersed I am within the process on a daily basis. Like, you wouldn't know because I'm not in the office. I'm at my place, but I'm keeping myself mentally tough there and holding myself accountable to my my actual schedule. So coming in, I had that mindset, but not making a sale for a whole year at Keller, it kind of does something to you a little bit, kind of messes with your psyche.
Yeah, you're coming from sales and you don't do anything.
You're like, you suck, man. You're not doing good. Like, what's going on, bro? Like, you're supposed to come here and kill it, and you're not doing nothing. Like, you've done one deal. You know what I'm saying? So I think, for me, just coming here with that mindset and just kind of like, I don't want to say failing, just learning the lessons that I've learned, throughout that process. I think, it kind of helped me out a little bit, kind of made me a little bit tougher to kind of endure all the things that you need to be able to endure when you're kind of in an industry such as, real estate.
Yeah. And I would say to those people listening that hear your story that for a year you didn't do nothing, but you didn't stop, right? You just pivoted.
Correct. Right.
And you learned some tools and you put it together and you utilize them.
Right.
And now you're seeing that.
In year 3.
Right. Well, almost year 3.
Almost year 3.
Almost year 3. In October, November, I think November will be year 3. Or it could be October. It's either October, November.
Do you know where you're at sales volume year to date right now?
Not exactly, but I think I'm somewhere around 11 deals or so, something like that. Maybe 12, something around there. It's like 11 or 12. But I got like 4
You got active listings out there.
I got 4 listings. I got one more listing going live next week on Tuesday. I got like
from the time you got here, you had your aha moment, you put it together, and now you're rolling, right?
Right, basically.
And what I want to give you props for is, as young as you are, not only just age-wise, but also in the industry, like, you take the time too, and you announce it to like our agents, like, hey, you guys want to know what I'm doing? Come here.
Right.
I'm going to be here from 12 to 1. Come watch me do this. You'll see the systems I use, how I mentally prepare, what I'm saying. I love that.
Right,
exactly. That's great.
I just like to give back because, had people not given back to me, even though I sought them out, had people not given back to me, I wouldn't have had the tools that I would have needed to execute like I'm executing. You know what I mean? And I feel like being able to give people the option to utilize, someone like myself that's not too far from where they are. You know what I mean? I think that helps them, or at least inspires them to kind of go that extra mile or try something different or implement something new. Whereas, like I told them, I said, hey, listen, I'm not here to teach you guys. I'm just here to show you what I do. That's it. Yeah. You take what you want to take from it. That's fine. If you don't like anything, don't. But at least you'll know what I'm doing, and whatever you feel like you can kind of implement into your own game plan, go right ahead and do that.
Is there any other tools that you're gonna like add to your toolbox now that you got, your cold calling and everything down? Is there something else that you want to implement? Yeah. So I remember the last time I spoke with you, we were talking about building a team, going to that next level, and I even came in there with Mike once when we were in that the management office room.
what's the room with all the people, all you guys are in? The
Oh,
office,
the
the office
leadership
right over
room?
here.
The
leadership.
yeah,
Right, the leadership room.
Yep.
And I was talking to Mike about it again there. So my game plan, my next step is to implement hiring a whole bunch of cold callers.
Nice.
Starting off with one and then gradually getting up to two before the end of the year. Having an admin in place for all the paperwork side of things and start to kind of roll at a higher pace basically with what I'm doing now. And to give myself back a little bit more time and then eventually bring on a buyer agent to kind of help out with some of those buyer side of things.
Yeah, me and him always talk about like if we could take ourselves back because we were in your shoes, just like everybody else when they're starting. I mean, I had to learn everything myself, ask those questions, figure it out as I went. Right. But I'm also stubborn. I'll tell you that right now. Like sometimes I just don't ask the questions.
Right.
I would say that's one of the biggest mistakes anybody out there can do. If you feel like your brokerage is not giving you those answers for whatever reason, we're all in the same business or lane. Like you could talk to somebody else outside of your brokerage if you have those relationships. There are group pages and things like that. But anyways, if like I say, like if I could go back, I would have one agent, TC or admin to just get things going and give myself time and keep working those leads or listings or things like that.
Right.
Not the other way around where it's like I hired agents and it's like give out leads, but wasn't really managing them.
Right. And then I think, and this is just me hypothesizing, when I look at teams now, the way I see them set up around the office, just around the way, period, I see people bringing in a lot of agents, and a lot of agents are not eating, so to speak, in a sense, not as eating as much as they probably would want to, which to me was like, that's interesting. So my method is going to be a little bit different than just bringing in a whole bunch of agents. I want to have the volume first, then bring in the agents second. I want to have the good problem of trying to solve, I got all these people, I got all this business going on. Now I need people to kind of help me manage this business, which makes me more viable as a team leader opposed to someone else who's just like, we'll give you something every once in a while once it comes in because we got so many people and we're so spread out.
Yeah, and that, the issue with me was I had enough. The problem is also the management part of the oversight.
Right.
And that's where I fell. And me and Edgar, I always kind of compare myself to Edgar because we came up like truly together. Like we had an admin together. We brainstormed probably every day. Like I'm not trying to exaggerate, but we were together every day. You know what I mean? Like, am I lying?
Yeah, we were here in the office every morning.
Every day, man.
Yeah.
And I tell you, the advice that I give agents and team leads now is completely different than what we were running. I know when we ran our teams. Now, granted, my team was uber successful, right? Every person on my team that came with me is on their own, running a team, a broker, something along those lines. So it was successful, but was I successful? I was successful in instilling values and training them and helping them get to the other next level in life. But the whole matchmaker team itself, I don't think was successful, as an organization, as, profit and loss statements. Later on we got, kind of streamlined and I was on payroll and, all these things happened later on. But
which you're going to learn right off the bat.
Yeah. Where I had to learn the hard lessons of not having an LLC and paying the, almost $100,000 in taxes. I had to experience that. I wish somebody would have guided me. And I would say people did mention it in the past, right? But I never had someone to kind of be like, hey, this is what you need to do. And this is why.
Right.
Right. And I didn't have a true business plan as far as my team for a 3-year, 5-year, 2-year. No, it was kind of like hey, we're doing very well.
Come to my event.
Yeah.
Let's rock it out. We're cool.
Yeah, come to my event. We're going to have fun. We're going to sell real estate. We're going to learn together. And I mean, it worked though. I mean, I guess it worked. You know what I mean?
It did. I mean, like in 1 year, I was counting it, and it's like 6 people were over. They're all over 100K, which made me feel good.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
and
really
I was
good.
Like, I was like, damn, okay. And then all the other ones, like unless they were new, like they were still making a good salary, like 60 to 90,000, super part time.
Right.
And you lose sight of the regular 9 to 5s because they're not making that much money either. But then Uncle Sam comes in, right? It's not really 60-90.
Right.
It's more
It's
like
gross.
it's
Yeah.
more like 30 to 50.
Yeah, but one thing I did
Lord.
do is right off the rip, every single agent that joined me, we start their LLCs. You know, we do all of that. They didn't go to the extent of payrolls because honestly, and this is where you can't get offended, is some people just ain't gonna cut it.
Right. I mean, it's
And,
true.
and then you're gonna learn that lesson, right? That's something we are not gonna be there like on your day to day with whatever agent you start with, is learning to cut that agent off.
Right.
I think that's the hardest lesson to learn is like when to move on from an agent on your team, because ultimately, you want to grow and you don't want to fail, right? And I take it personal, right? If someone comes under me,
This dude take a fucking joke.
I take that shit to heart, man. Like
I gave him a face because he wanted to borrow the laptop for training today, and I could tell he took it seriously. And I was like, oh,
yeah, because this guy's he knows I'm sensitive.
yeah,
But it's okay. My wife knows I'm sensitive. So
we laugh at you every day.
It's all good. But it's a hard lesson to learn to like at a point to where you cut somebody off.
Right.
Because that time spent with him.
Yes.
Right. Right.
And it's like, man, I've had success with other people. Like, am I slipping? Am I tripping? Is it me? Do I have to pivot? Because as leaders, you got to also constantly be looking to grow and learn and implement new things.
Right.
And you don't know what you don't know, especially in this business.
Exactly.
So, as you build your team, like my only suggestion is, hire slow, fire fast. Hire slow, fire fast. Because if you don't fire fast, we always want people to be who we want them to be rather than who they are.
Right.
I see this potential in this person. Well, if they don't put it into action, it's just that, right? It's never going to result. You're never going to receive any results from that person. You see potential, but if they don't want that.
You know what was one of the things I changed too, and it also changed some of the team members, was having them pay for their own leads out of the systems that I already had. Putting your own skin in the game.
Yeah. So I think that's something, I'm gonna implement something like that too as well. I mean, obviously I'll be talking to you guys more so when that time comes. I'm just gonna internally hire first to build the foundation with the callers, and then I'll kind of add on the agents afterwards. But I like the point that you had brought up earlier about just being able to be like a follower, so to speak, before trying to lead, so that way you can lead more effectively. And that's how I've been when I came here. Like, there's two different sides of me. Like, there's one side where I'm just ha, he, whatever the case is. But then there's like a very strict side that I'm very focused, pinpoint focused. I know exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm disseminating the information I'm talking about very clearly and concisely to whoever I'm speaking to. So with that being said, for me coming here, I needed to be an Indian, obviously, because I need to take in everything I can take in like a sponge. And this is why I sit down with each and every person and I talk to each and every person, because I'm like, I need to take everything in that this person's doing because they're effective, and this person, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And implement that into my own game before I can also be a leader myself in my own perspective.
Yeah. If
respect.
Well, if you could speak to an individual agent year one, what would you say to them?
I would tell them that consistency. Well, first of all, discipline is first. You have to be disciplined. So you need to create a schedule. That's one. You have to, because how can you be real? I guess how can you take this seriously if you're not putting a schedule together that you need to kind of be accountable to, right? Because this isn't your conventional thing. Real estate is not conventional. It's unconventional. So with that being said, you don't have a boss. You don't have somebody over your shoulder all the time telling you to do this, do that, do this. You have to do that yourself, and that all comes from there, right? And I'm pointing at my phone, by the way. It all comes from there. It all comes from there. So with that being said, I think creating that schedule, you're not gonna master discipline at the end of the day. You just have to consistently try to be that much better every single day afterwards. So don't beat yourself up at the simple fact that you don't adhere to your schedule 100%, but just strive to be better every single day afterwards. And keeping that discipline and consistency, I think, will lead you down the right path to kind of get to your end goal, whatever that may be.
What's the biggest lesson you learned that you were like kind of stuck in your way? What was the one hurdle that kind of took you over the top to for you to be operating right now the way you are?
I think the biggest lesson that I've learned was that I needed to spend more money to make more money. And I think with that being said, I think that all started off with the free app that I had got, or the free third-party referral service that I got from Op City from Peak Performance. So Peak Performance started all this in the beginning. And once I started to see like stuff materializing from that, I'm like, okay, I need to get more of these. So I end up signing up for more different, I'm trying out different things here and there. And that's kind of helped. I guess it kind of helped padding out a little, some stuff.
I forgot you got on that.
Yeah, he was the first one to start killing them.
Yeah. So
I remember that too.
Yeah, so for me, that kind of showed me something like, let me get some more of these. And those kind of helped fill in like the gaps here and there, on top of me doing my cold calls. And, other than that, I would say that probably would be one of the biggest things that kind of, changed my business, just me knowing I have to put money into it and I have to take a gamble on myself.
Yeah.
That's the business is yourself, right?
Right.
Like, and then those tools, that's what I say is they're just tools. They're great. They're out there. Utilize them, but learn how to work that database once you start getting it. And then obviously what you do now is, and I see you, I walk into the office, you'll be in the conference room or you'll be at that table just grinding out your calls on schedule, right?
Yep.
Which is like impressive for anybody who hasn't done it, because this guy right here, that's really how I got my start also. Sometimes I didn't have an office. I would sit in the parking lot at Starbucks.
No.
Not in Starbucks. I'd grab my coffee, go to my car, sit there and make my calls.
Dedication.
Do my 100 calls right there because I got the screaming kids at the house. I don't have an office. I'm not sitting in Starbucks to make these calls. I just sit in my car and make the calls.
Right.
And you start generating your leads. And I think you're at that point now where you can't spend that time making all those calls now. You need to get somebody to get your time back and go to those listing appointments. And
I definitely do need to get, and this is exactly why, because I found the new problem, which is obviously a good problem. All the business I got going on. Right. All the business I got going on, it kind of slowed down a lot of my calls.
Yeah, first world
problems
right.
is what, when I complain every day, that's what they look at me. Oh, I'm sorry, you got first world problems.
That's literally what I tell them.
Yes.
But just like you said, getting that situated so I can stay consistent, or at least getting some things into place to make that a consistent thing, so you can kind of evaluate your KPIs at the end of the quarter or year or however you do them. You know what I mean? I think that's important. You just got to pay attention to what your numbers look like and try to kind of progress.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now?
Oh, in 5 years? In 5 years, I'm going to be like top realtor in the nation or some stuff like that. I'm telling you, like my whole, and I don't want to go like too far winded with this, right? Because I think about this stuff all the time.
Go ahead, man. Tell
Talk shit.
Let's go.
So here's the thing. I have a whole blueprint on what I want to do and how I want to execute it. Like it's already there. And the thing is that if you know what works and you can duplicate that and you can multiply yourself, there is no reason why you can't go to the upper echelons of, the cream of the crop. There's no reason. Like, I know what I do and to get results that I get. Like, I know the numbers. I understand how they work, at least for me. And, with that being said, I think that with me just putting in those pieces that we were talking about earlier with the team and the callers and stuff like that, I think that's just that's the link that's going to connect that's going to take it to a whole nother level volume-wise. And it's going to start to farly exceed what other people thought was possible when you're talking about in the means of prospecting through circle prospecting calls.
Yeah.
No, it's part of the growth. You need other people to do that.
Yep.
Well, and then you also need people that are also operating at a high level near you.
Right.
I always say that, when your circle has to also be striving to do big things, whether you're in the same lane or not, whether they could be a realtor, they could be a whatever the case may be, right? Loan officer, it could be insurance. It doesn't have to be a real estate professional. But what I have, kind of, come to the realization is that if you're not around people who are executing at a high level, it's just going to be harder for you. Because your circle just doesn't understand what it takes to take your business, what it takes, the hours. A lot of people that I used to constantly be around, I'm not around them anymore. And some of them is the perception, Edwin thinks he's better than everybody. And I haven't changed, not one bit. It's just that my time is just limited now. Because I spend my time doing activities that's going to make me, more productive, or, grow my own personal knowledge, or grow Taina's knowledge, or build my business. It's something I'm building in some form of fashion. So a lot of the downtime that I had, I no longer am associating with certain people. And it's not ultimately anything derogatory towards them or not, right? I still have mad love for all my people. I am just focused on trying to build the next level. So those friends who are also doing big things in their lives, we have continued our relationships and have grown together. And some of those people I don't really associate that much anymore.
Well, I forgot where I heard this before, but it went something like spend more time with 3 people that you strive to kind of not be like necessarily, but strive to get to where they're at to some degree. And then spend less time with 3 people that are, I guess, lower or something like that on that totem pole as far as helping you out with your growth. So I forgot what the exact quote was, so I'm paraphrasing, but it's something like that. It goes something like that. The spending time around those people that are going to give you more value in your life to whatever degree.
Yeah, no, and it goes to the part where like if I'm hanging out with certain friends, I was like, we're just shooting the shit, drinking, whatever. Like, I don't do that anymore. I can't even associate myself really.
That's what I'm saying. Like that example. Hey, I'm sitting around shooting the shit, drinking
for hours.
That doesn't happen in my life. Like I don't. It just doesn't.
And even with that crowd now, even if we do have a drink, we're masterminding. We're doing something. It's just change. And I still have that. Like me and my boys, we travel to a 49er game every year. But it's planned. That is my weekend to go visit a city, check out the museums, aquariums, whatever the hell they got over there, and go look at a game. That's that one weekend out of the year, right? That I go do that with my friends, right? But that's what they're there for.
Right.
When it comes to the business side, well, that's a different level of business. And that's where these guys are holding me accountable. That's where I'm listening and, okay, what's the task? Okay, I'm going to get on that, right? What's the tasks that need to be done to create the business? That's what you're going to need is within your business, you need those people that are going to be completing those tasks. And if you're masterminding everything, cool. You need those other people around you that are going to complete the puzzle, the oversight.
Right, exactly.
The commitment to keeping those wheels greased. Because one of those things starts to fall out, it's like you start seeing the ship just tilt a little bit. Like, oh shit, let's recover over here, fix this over there. It's in the beginning, it's not going to run smooth, but you're going to figure it out. The good thing is here, you're going to have people like myself and the leadership group with Edwin and Mike and Eric who are going to talk to you about properly, structuring your business, and you're going to hear from everybody on what they did, don't do. And you put it together. And in 5 years, if you got that, that blueprint written out and ready to go, one of the top in the nation, fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that real quick, what you just said, so actually my goal for this year is to end the year off for like 40 deals. That's the goal. That's the plan. That's what's going to happen. So that's this year. So 2025, excellence awards and stuff like that, I'll be up there. But 2026, totally different year. That year, I plan on being number one. Like, that's the year, because this is the point where I put those pieces into place this year and then be, working at full throttle next year. And we're just kind of like rolling.
Yeah.
out the rip. So,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how old are you now?
so I am going to tell you 39.
No way.
Yeah.
Patrick, you're 39 years old?
Yeah.
Bro, you my age. Shit. Man, I thought
but
you
he
was in
works
your
out.
20s, man.
Yeah, he works out like
Nah.
crazy.
39? Shit, you old, man. We need an
He's like,
ARP out this
so
joint.
I'm gonna tell you. Well, look, 39 looks like you're gonna be rolling. You're creating your own wealth as far as fishing for your own meals and doing everything you need to do. I have no doubt that you're gonna be fine in real estate moving forward. Now, once you're doing great, top agent in the nation, all of that. What's your peak life look like?
Peak life. Honestly, I'm simple. So with that being said, for me, I just want a couple of cars and a nice house. That's it. It doesn't have to be super expensive. I don't care about having a super duper expensive house. I prefer to create legacy, or some people call it lineage, So my family is what is the most important for me. My son, he's going to be graduating next year in May. So he'll be going to
Nice.
the Air Force.
Oh,
9
damn,
times out of
okay.
10.
Nice.
So he is
yeah.
smarter.
Yeah.
Over here. Got it.
Oh.
Well,
Already.
I told him, I said, Air Force, that's the only place. That's the first place we're looking at.
Hey, we got Space Force now, man. Don't worry. Don't
Oh,
sleep
I
on that.
forgot about that. I forgot all about that. That
Shit.
is
So
insane.
your son, right?
Yeah.
Is he a future realtor?
He wants to do real estate, and I want him to do real estate. But I also told him that we need to have a comprehensive game plan, So we can't just say we're going to do real estate, because he might get into it, he might not like it, or he might not have the discipline, even though I would try to force him and push him to do so. But there's only so much you can kind of do, right? So I wanted him to kind of have something solid, which is why I suggested the military, so you can kind of have that experience, and you can kind of have that, transition over to a civilian job,
Yep.
government wise, if so need be, if for some reason you still want to do real estate and it just didn't work out.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing that I would say is there was a time, right, where I said I want to do 100 transactions a year, right? Until I found out what 100 transactions a year meant. And that's just me personally. Everybody has their own personal goals. I am a 30 deal a year striver.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
keep it simple.
yeah, man. If you ask me 10 years from now, my goal is 10 mil. 30 to 40 deals, $10 million in production. Hopefully it'll be more like 5 deals and it'll be 30 million one day, right? But, like 10 million is really where I strive to be. And the reason I found that to be is because that's what it takes for me to live the life I want to live, and also have enough time to also do the things that I enjoy. And everybody's different. Everyone's, has different production levels and what happiness means to them. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is that a lot of times we have goals and we're like, I want to do this. But en route to those goals, you realize that maybe your goals may be something else. Right?
Yeah.
And I just want you to just keep an open mind. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Because you might reach a point to where I'm good. Like, I'm happy. Or you might have a life-changing event. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I like spending time with my wife. So in order for me to spend time with my wife and continue to grow the business and continue to do sales, something has to give.
That's true.
Right?
Balance.
So balance. I think 10 mil is the balance that, I would like to keep. So that's just, my little 2 pennies.
Yeah, and to be clear, like Edwin's first world problems and his beautiful 4,000 square foot whatever 4,300 square foot. Hold on 1 second. Look. These are the problems that Edwin has. I can't fit my range and my. I need to extend this thing to.
And it's been fixed.
Has it for real?
Yep, I got the range and the Benz in the garage.
Oh, I gotta see that.
Ah, that's sweet. See, that's what I'm talking about. This is, I want 2 nice cars in the house. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And see that's I guess that's us now at this point, and your kids are obviously going off. I still got young ass kids.
Yeah.
So but I enjoy it, and it's a whole different facet of my life. When I was younger with my older daughters, it was different. I was in the military. gone. The relationship wasn't great with the moms then. Now I'm remarried for 20 years, going on 20 years with this woman, right? Not married, together.
Oh, okay.
With all
Same,
small
same.
Yeah, I would
kids.
say, yeah. Still.
Same shit.
But it's a different part of my life, right? And it's a different mindset where it's like go, go, go in the gym, right? Like obviously you're in the gym, and now I'm getting back into the gym.
You work out?
I mean, every now and then. Every now and then.
This dude's strong as an ox,
I
man.
know, bro. Anybody that wears skin tight, everything, obviously.
Hey, let me
works
ask
out.
you: do you go to Iron Asylum, or do you?
No,
go
I go to One Life.
Gotcha. So at Iron Asylum, they got this board, and you put your height, weight, and all your PRs.
Oh, yeah?
I think you'd be up there, man.
Yeah,
With the
man.
shit
That'd be pretty
see
sweet.
you
I
do.
heard about it.
Yeah,
I think you should check it out.
Yep.
With the Iron Valley discount, it's less than One Life.
Oh, really?
yes, and no
That's
annual fee.
interesting. Okay.
dope.
Yeah, it's less.
Shout
than
out to Iron Asylum.
Shout out, yeah, Alvin
Yeah.
and them, man. Great stuff, man. We love it.
Yeah. Well, peak life. You got the simple life. Your kids going off to the Air Force. You're 39.
Mm-hmm.
When do you intend to stop? What
I'm not
do
gonna
you
stop.
have that?
No,
up there?
I'm not stopping. This is I mean, this is a lifetime right here for me
Okay.
personally, because there's just so many building blocks that I have planned for this whole thing. Like, you know, I came from flipping houses initially. That was one of the things I didn't throw out there, but that was before I became a roadside. I was flipping houses for I think 7 years. And when I say
Okay.
flipping, I mean wholesaling, if anybody's ever heard of that. But that is still counted as flipping towards the end of the year when it comes to taxes, with the capital gains and stuff. So with that being said, I was already kind of familiar with that. So for me, another one of those pivotal things that I want to implement within my business is going to be a division solely predicated towards that. But that's a whole different beast within itself. But I understand how that beast works, 100% how that works. Because I made one year, my best year, I made 140 something thousand on wholesaling. So I know what that looks like. You know what I mean? So it's, again, another process, different, but that's going to be something else that I implement within my game plan of my team structure, so to speak, but via another division, so to speak.
Nice.
So yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, Patrick, listen, thank you. This was a great freaking episode. We appreciate you. For those listening, please don't forget to subscribe, follow, and if you have any questions, hit us up. If you want to be a guest, hit any of the owners up. We'd love to have you. Tune in next week. Have a great weekend.
Take it easy.
All right, guys. Peace.